What's up everyone, it's Jan Bors, new video and new from the series What If, this kind of a podcast series. I already did one. What if the budgets are the same for every country? So check it out, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, and this topic today, it will be about the topic, which is what if there is no producer's choice at Eurovision, and what if countries actually are drawn. And this is something which is absolutely essential topic for me, and one of the things how I would like to change Eurovision, one of those points which I really would like to point, stress out, discuss and whatsoever, because I don't like the system which is nowadays. Nowadays it works the way that the countries are drawn. First semi-final, second semi-final, also they are drawn in first half or second half, and in the finals it's not just first half and second half, but also producer's choice, which makes it basically that almost every country is producer's choice, right? And then the producer, whoever it is, has the option to put the country whenever he decides, based on how he feels the show or how he feels the flow, or she. It's about a show. How to make the show even more attractive, let's say. But I kind of think that what's happening, especially with all those other rules around, that it's becoming more about the show than a competition. And actually it's Eurovision Song Contest. Contest means competition. It means that somebody will win. And I'm asking a question, why in television we need to have this show element and suppress the competitive element? From my own experience, from the shows I was working at, whenever was pushed forward this competition element, the numbers rose crazily. The attractiveness of the show rose crazily, regardless where I actually put the best star of the show, kind of the biggest name. Because this is just one thing, the competitiveness, the curiosity of if there will be somebody better or worse or something. It's much more attractive, and I think it's also much more fair. And this is something what, in my opinion, also viewers react to, even on unconscious level, that it creates this tension, the competition. If it's just a show, it's postponing this element. It's too obvious. It even feels that somebody is pushing somebody among, or somebody, some country, let's say, to have a better result than the other. Why would this needs to be happening? And I understand that the producers needs to have some certain power, but for example, me as a producer, for example, in Let's Dance or in national selections of Eurovision ESCZ in Czechia, I didn't care who's gonna win. Of course, I had somebody who I would might be prefer, but the whole point was to create such a selection that it doesn't really matter who will win, because I'm okay with anybody. Somebody I will need to develop a little bit more, somebody less. Of course, not with my experience nowadays, it will be even different. But the thing is that the producers shouldn't affect the shows this way, in my opinion. And this is like a rule of having a huge power, knowing who's gonna kind of win or help somebody to a little bit, stand out. I don't think it's our role, especially in public broadcaster television, especially in competition, because competition should be clear. Imagine that Champions League playoff would not be drawn who's gonna play against whom, but it will be choice of the producers of Champions League, of those bosses. Imagine, it would be a scandal. It would be crazy. No one would like to play, because it would be kind of predetermined, for the best teams, the better teams, the most wealthy teams, to meet at the latest stages. Now they can even meet in the quarterfinals or even in the last 16, which makes it attractive. It makes a competition competitive, and also it makes or creates a natural space for surprises. Now this kind of, it's not really over, because at some point it might not matter, right? But for example, me as a producer head of delegation, I don't like being put second. Why? Why do you punish me with second place in the finals? Why do you punish me with the third place in the final? And I was there, and I was like, I cannot complain to this, because this is not my responsibility. I cannot do anything about it. What I can do is to focus with my artist on what it is, but also I know what it creates in their mind. Somebody wants us off. This is what happens. And what can you say? they chose us there for some reason. But on the other hand, I don't also agree with it. I would rather draw the position. And I don't actually even care if there are 5 same songs in a row, or similar songs in a row, because it makes the competition somehow competitive. And we are selling the show now. We are selling the second most important part of the Eurovision, even maybe third or fourth. Because still the most important part of Eurovision is contest, competition. And we are surpassing it. And I don't think it's right, and I actually think it would be actually much more attractive if the draw is really realistic in this way. If even from the semifinals the countries are drawn on the certain positions, how crazy it would be, how crazy attractive would be also this draw, because it would be like, oh my god, this is crazy, you know. It would be interesting, and you don't even have a feeling that somebody interfered in it. And yes, you probably won't have this cliche that it's almost easy to predict which song will be ending the semifinal, which song will be starting the semifinal, or which 2 songs it will be. No. Why do we need to follow those obsolete rules of producers creating shows if it's a competition? Because I think we are taking the essence of the contest out of it, and we're trying to create a US thing. But I don't think that Europe has the same nature, culture as US, where everything is about to be over the top. I think Europe has one bigger value over US in this case, and that's depth. We have depth also, probably because of the crazy diversity of language diversities, of all of it, also of how we perceive sports. It's in our nature to feel this, to understand it, to feel it, to be passionate, to compare, and some kind of elementary fairness. And this is one of the most unfair things at Eurovision. And I don't want to blame those producers that they want to have power. It's obvious, like, this is nice, you know, they can do whatever they want. Sometimes they say, oh, this prop and this prop cannot be. Like, come on. If you have a script, you script writing, you can do whatever. You can create a little pause, you can do something else. It's always doable, solutionable, and I don't like this excuse anymore that something cannot be after something else because of the huge prop. Like, you go to the green room for a while. You know in advance, and actually this you would know in a huge advance. So you prepare some special VTs, little ones, something, summaries or whatsoever. This is always doable, but make it transparent for the countries, because no one will tell you a real answer, because sometimes I have a feeling that, you know, this is not a very popular song, it won't work. This artist, it's not that perfect. Let's put him second. Let's put her fifth. Let's squeeze this in among so they will delete it. I understand those feelings, and maybe they are not even real. But why, at the first place, they need to exist? Why they need to exist? Let's keep it transparent. There will be a allocation draw or semifinal draw. Everybody will pick their place in a certain semifinal. Everybody. Okay, there can be some rules that Armenia and Azerbaijan cannot be in the same semifinal or something like this. Okay, some rules. Also, UEFA has those. I think it kind of makes sense not to create dramas unnecessarily. All right, I understand this. This is what it is. It's also part of our diversity, our tensions, our histories, and so on and so forth. What is important that it's fairness. When after the semi-finalists will come, they will have those 26 bubbles, unless the hosting country, right, and maybe the big five, and they will pick bubble after bubble until all the bubbles are gone. Everybody will know their placing, and they wouldn't be able also to complain about it. And yes, it's a chance, but you know, it will make it even more attractive. Can this country make it from the third place? Oh my god, we drawn second place. Can we still manage it? Can you imagine how it would be? It would be brilliant. This would be a super competitive thing, also marketing wise, and from my own experience, whenever we approach competitions in television shows this way, that they will be as much fair as possible, as transparent as was possible for the viewers, but also for the people who were involved in them. They do better numbers, because afterwards, you know, what is bigger show than Eurovision? It's sport. It's sport in general. Sport in general is the biggest TV on earth. So why aren't we learning from what they are doing the best? And we are trying to make it ours, show better. We can do it in our domestic competition somehow. But should we do it on international level, where it should be a neutral place? I don't think so. I think that if we come back to competition, if we come back to this, the show actually would not be affected, because the attractivity of such a thing, it's just overcoming all the negatives of such a decision. But this is my opinion, my own opinion. I try to give you some argumentation. Maybe you will find out other. In the comments below there is a space. Become members if you want to have my exclusive videos. Also support me. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Again, don't worry to write me in the comments below. Maybe you will have a topic for what if something, and I will try to give you an answer. Also inspire me. I'm actually open to it. And see you in the comments or the other video. Thank you for watching. Bye.